Before I start this rant, to anyone who likes spring 2022, I respect your opinion. Anyways, enjoy. Spring 2022. Oh my god, it sucks. Now here are some bad things that happened this spring, in my opinion. 1. On March 20th, I went to church on the computer. I also went to Diane's Pizza. 2. On March 21st, I went to school, and I took the acuplacer test. 3. The next day on March 22nd, I got a 2 on my point sheet for having my mom on the phone during the Zoom meeting for the Circle of Support, which made me mad. I also got in trouble for having my mom on the phone during the Zoom meeting as well, and that is later explained in my March 22, 2022 rant. 4. On March 23rd, during third period, I had to be with my teacher to set up an account on EdReady for a math and reading test, but in my afternoon class, we had a fun pizza party. 5. On March 24th, I had fun playing outside with my friends. 6. The next day on March 25th, I had fun in my gym class, and our teacher gave us $30 to go eat at McDonald's as a whole class, and it was the last day of school to spring break. 7. On March 26th, I went to IKEA. This following day, I got a haircut. I also played with Miljana that day. 8. On March 27th, I went to church. I heard the deacon telling about Encore, which is about obeying by the Lord's word, along with some prayers. Church is fun. During that following day, I played with my friends that day. 28th. On March 28th, I had a lot of fun at the skate park. 9. On March 29th, I started working on my skateboard project. 10. On March 30th, I got in trouble for acting ridiculous in the house. I should not have done that. During that following day, it was my friend Layla's birthday. 11. On March 31st, some driver rudely honked at me while I was riding my electric skateboard. 12. On April 1st, I had a lot of fun playing with my friends outside. 13. On April 2nd, I played with Landon and Layla, and Ethan. This following day, I went to the movies to see The Batman. 14. On April 3rd, I went to church, and we had communion. I heard the deacon telling about the Lamb, which is about how the Lord sacrifices, along with some prayers. Church is fun. During that following day, I played with Nicole that day. 15. On April 4th, I had a lot of fun playing with my friends, and it was the last day of spring break before I head to school tomorrow. I also played with Zachary and Gavin. 16. The next day on April 5th, I went back to school, and me and my mom had another meeting at our area campus, but in my homeroom class, I got a 2 on my point sheet for going to the lab for third period when I am supposed to go to Ms. Hardy's homeroom for speech, which made me a little upset at the end. I wasn't gonna make reinforcement anyways because of what happened. 17. On April 6th, I went to school, and in my afternoon class, I had a lot of fun playing outside. 18. On April 7th, I went to school, but my afternoon class only, and I had a lot of fun there. 19. On April 8th, I had a lot of fun in my PE class, and in my afternoon class, we seen a presentation from the Denver Community Credit Union, and we learned how to measure voltage with a voltmeter. This following day, I played with Michaela that day. 20. On April 9th, I helped my dad use the pressure washer to wash the cars. This following day, I played with Miljana and my friends that day. 21. On April 10th, I found the nozzle piece to the pressure washer. This following day, I played with Miljana and my friends that day. 22. On April 11th, I went to school. During third period, I had to go to the nurse for my vision and hearing test. Once I passed the test, I went to the lab, and in my afternoon class, we were learning how to check the voltage on a 220-volt outlet. 23. The next day on April 12th, I had to be in a meeting about the EdReady math assignments with the school therapist and my 101 aide, but in my homeroom class, my 101 aide talked to me about the things in my IEP and other stuff, and I got so stressed where I was about to get mad, and it is later explained in my April 12, 2022 rant. 24. On April 13th, I went to school, and I took the social-emotional wellness test. Then I had to be with the behavioralist and the school therapist to finish the test about my social security disability. And during third period, I got sent on space during class, and one of the students got me upset. And I was feeling upset, but I will not go into further details about it. When I got home from school, I got in trouble for acting ridiculous in the house. I also got in trouble for not cleaning up my bathroom as well, which led to me getting grounded for 8 days. And I was also not allowed to go outside anymore because of what happened. But I will not gonna go more into it for personal reasons. Then my consequences got lifted a few hours later. 25. On April 14th, I went to school at the Rouge Rec Center for the Teachers vs. Kids basketball game. It was a tie. 26. On April 15th, it was my IEP. I was nervous to be in the meeting in my homeroom, and in my afternoon class, one of the students refused to dive into the learning, which led to us going into the classroom, and I worked on parts of Chapter 52. 27. On April 16th, I went to an Easter party at my grandma's house. I also played with my cousins. 28. On Easter Sunday, I went to church. I heard the deacon telling about validation in death and resurrection, which is about how the Lord resurrects from death, along with some prayers. Church is fun. During that following day, I played with my friends that day. 29. On April 18th, during third period, I got a 2 on my point sheet for yelling "shut up" in the middle of class, which made me mad. And in my afternoon class, we were learning how to measure continuity and resistance of electrical components. 30. The next day on April 19th, I went to study hall with the school therapist and my 101 aide, and in my afternoon class, we were doing some book work. During that following day, I played with Emilio and Miliana that day. 31. On April 20th, I went to school, and in my afternoon class, we were learning how to perform a battery service on a car. 32. On April 21st, I went to school, but my afternoon class only, and I had a lot of fun there. And when I got home from school, I played with Miliana and my friends that day. Then, I got in a lot of trouble for wearing too many necklaces, which led to my necklaces to be taken away, and I threw a tantrum. I'm not going to get into full details with it. 33. On Earth Day, I had fun in my PE class, and in my afternoon class, we were learning how to test a car battery. 34. On April 23rd, I went to the flea market. This following day, I played with Miliana that day. 35. On April 24th, I went to church on the computer, and I got a 2 on my point sheet for not following directions, which led to me getting put on restriction from the necklaces I wear all the time. This following day, I played with Miliana that day. 36. On the beginning of the next following week, I went back to school, and I did the autism awareness presentation to the Columbine Elementary School kids. And in my afternoon class, we were learning more about testing and charging a car battery. 37. The next day on April 26th, I went to study hall at the Atlantis Community Building with the school therapist and my 101 aide, and I got very stressed. And it is later explained in my April 26, 2022 rant. 38. Sometime during this following week, I got in a lot of trouble for revving stuff in the garage, and I got in a lot of trouble for getting mad over something small as well, which almost led to my phone including my PlayStation 4 console to be taken away. And I got sent on a timeout right before I eat dinner. Then, I got a 0 on my point sheet for leaving the house without permission and not following directions. I wasn't gonna make reinforcement anyways due to what happened. This even led to me ending up with consequences for it, and I will not go into full details about it. 39. On April 28th I went to school, but my afternoon class only, and I had a lot of fun there. When I got home from school, I had consequences, which is no CAF, no break, staying in the house, and community service. That became a problem, so I had to sit in my room to serve no CAF. 40. On April 29th, I had fun in my PE class. I also had a half day of school, and my consequences got lifted. This following day, I had a fun game night with Kalani and Miliana, including Stephanie. 41. On April 30th, I played with my friends outside. This following day, I played with Miljana and Kalani that day. 42. On May 1st, I went to church on the computer, and I helped my dad install the new lock on the gate in the backyard. This following day, I played with Miljana that day. 43. On May 2nd, I went to school. 44. The next day on May 3rd, I went to study hall with the school therapist, but in my afternoon class, we were learning how to measure amperage on an engine starter. When I got home, I played outside. Later at night, before I was about to go to bed, I got in trouble for leaving trash in my rooms, which caused me to have no CAF as a consequence for 2 weeks. I also got in trouble for talking back as well. Then, I got a 2 on my point sheet for being disrespectful. And, I got in a lot of trouble for not following directions, which caused me to be put on restriction from going outside. Then they got me banned from eating snacks upstairs for 2 months. While I was using the bathroom, I got yelled at while I was using the bathroom. And worst of all, I got warned about if I clean one room or I will be put on restriction from going outside and will be getting more consequences for it. 45. On May 4th, I went to school, and in my afternoon class, we were learning how to test voltage drop on a starter and an alternator. 46. On Cinco de Mayo, I went to school, but my afternoon class only, and I had a lot of fun there. 47. On May 6th, I had fun in my PE class, and in my afternoon class, we had field day, and we were learning how to perform a compression test on a car engine. This following day, I had a fun game night with Miljana and Kalani. 48. On May 7th, I helped my grandpa install shingles onto the roof of his tool shed. This following day, I played with Emilio that day. 49. On Mother's Day, I went to church. I heard the deacon telling about "Will the Real Mom Please Stand Up?" which is about celebrating Mother's Day with the Lord, along with some prayers. Church is fun. 50. On May 9th, a student started being rude to me and refused to leave me alone in the hallway, which made me very upset. And worst of all, the student that I have problems with almost got me in trouble multiple times before transitioning to math. She got my points on my point sheet affected multiple times, and I got so upset that I was about to take the bus back home. But I decided not to do that, then I will be marked tardy. But I attempted to try leaving the school to head home on the bus because she almost got me in trouble a lot this month. 51. The next day on May 10th, I went to study hall with the school therapist and my 101 aide, and in my afternoon class, we were learning how to perform a tune-up on a car, and during break, one of the students also got in trouble. 52. On May 11th, I went to school. 53. On May 12th, I went to school, but my afternoon class only, and I had a lot of fun there. 54. On Friday the 13th, I had fun in my PE class, and in my afternoon class, we were cleaning up the shop. At the end of the school day, I missed the bus, and I had trouble looking for my electric skateboard remote, and I had to catch the bus back home late before dark. 55. On May 14th, I helped my dad landscape the front yard. This following day, I played with Emilio that day. 56. On May 15th, I went to church. I heard the deacon telling about how "So Your Smell," which is about the fragrance of Christ, along with some prayers. Church is fun. During that following day, I played with my friends that day. 57. On May 16th, I went back to school, and in my afternoon class, we started doing some engine rebuilding. 58. The next day on May 17th, I got a 2 on my point sheet by my 101 aide for trying to attempt to get started on the edge-ready math assignments, which made me so mad. I didn't want to be in that meeting anymore, and what's worse, she started discussing with me on the goals that are on my IEP, and other stuff, and that is later explained in my May 17, 2022 rant. 59. On May 18th, I went to school, and in my afternoon class, we were cleaning up and organizing the shop. 60. On May 19th, one of the students almost got me in trouble during recess, which made me upset at the end. And worst of all, he told me that if I kick the ball over the fence again, he will get me in trouble by one of the staff. And in automotive class, we were cleaning up the shop. 20th. On May 20th, I passed the acuplacer test, and I had fun in my PE class. And in my afternoon class, we were working on the customer's car engine. 60. On May 21st, I went to a funeral. This following day, I played with my friends that day. 61. On May 22nd, I went to church. The deacon honored me and the other student graduates. This is awesome. I heard the deacon telling about pursuit, which is about the Lord pursuing people, along with some prayers. Church is fun. Later that following day, I played with my friends that day. 62. On May 23rd, I went back to school. 63. The next day on May 24th, I went a meeting in my homeroom class with my homeroom teacher, the school therapist and my 101 aide. 64. On Africa Day, I went back to school. During that same day, a school shooting broke out in a Texas elementary school. 19 kids and 2 adults were killed. 17 people were wounded. That was very sad due to that incident that happened. 65. The next day on May 26th, I learned how to perform a valve adjustment on a car engine at school. This following day, I got a haircut. 66. On May 27th, it was my graduation ceremony. But during this following morning, I got a 2 on my point sheet for acting ridiculous in the house. I also got in trouble for mimicking as well, which I will not go into it for personal reasons. Once I got to the graduation ceremony, I finally graduated. I also went to Red Lobster with my friend Salem. This following day, I had a fun game night with my teachers, Adam and Miss Viridiana, including Zachary. 67. On May 28th, I went to the skate park, and during dinner, I got a 0 on my point sheet for acting ridiculous in front of my parents, which made me upset at the end. 68. On May 29th, I went to church. I heard the deacon telling about Memorial Stone, which is about commemorating or marking the place of the burial and remembrance and loss of people from the military, along with some prayers. Church is fun. This following day, I went to my cousin Matthew's birthday party, and I spent the night at my aunt's house. 69. On Memorial Day, I had fun at the skate park with my cousins. 70. On May 31st, I had fun playing Super Smash Bros. With Gavin. 71. On June 1st, I ended up in trouble for taking things too seriously. I also got in trouble for talking back as well, which caused my reinforcement to get affected. And I got a 0 on my point sheet. I hate zeros so much. 72. On June 2nd, I ran some errands with my mom. 73. On June 3rd, I went to my dad's union to pick up tickets for Six Flags. This following day, I played with my friends that day. 74. The next day on June 4th, I went to an indoor skate park and had fun with my friend Salem. This following day, I played with my friends that day, and before I was about to go to bed, I got in a lot of trouble for not going to bed at a specific time, and I got in a lot of trouble for talking back as well. This even led to me getting a 2 on my point sheet for not going to bed on time. This also made me cry. 75. On June 5th, I went to church, and it was the water baptism. I heard the deacon telling about Get More, which is about receiving more of the Holy Spirit from the Lord, along with some prayers. Church is fun. Also, it was my cousin Kyler's birthday. This following day, I played with my friends that day. 76. On June 6th, I watched a new episode of Stranger Things of Season 4. 77. On June 7th, I played with my friends outside. 78. On June 8th, I played soccer with my friends in the Brighton Crossings. This following day, I watched some episodes of Stranger Things on my PS4. 79. On June 9th, I ran some errands with my mom. This following day, I played with my friends that day. 80. On June 10th, I went out of town. 81. On June 11th, I went to the Rio Grande Gorge. I also went to Taos. 82. On June 12th, I went to the skate park in Colorado Springs, and I went back home. This following day, I played with my friends that day. 83. On June 13th, I had fun playing soccer outside. This following day, I played with Kennedy that day. 84. On Flag Day, I played with my friend Kennedy. This following day, I celebrated my dad's 44th birthday at Joe's Crab Shack. 85. The next day on June 15th, I had fun playing outside. This following day, I watched a new episode of Season 4 of Stranger Things. 86. On June 16th, I practiced my soccer skills. This following day, I watched a new episode of Season 4 of Stranger Things. 87. On June 17th, I went out to eat lunch at a Mexican restaurant. 88. On June 18th, I mowed the neighbor's lawn. That following day, I watched the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Rings movie. That movie is very good. 89. On June 19th, I went to church. I heard the deacon telling about a father's faith, which is about a father and his compassion on his children, along with some prayers. Church is fun. Later that following day, I played with my friends that day. 90. On June 20th, I had fun playing with my soccer ball and riding my roller skates. 91. On June 21st, I got in trouble for riding my shuttle to school before dark when I am specifically told that I'm not supposed to, which led to me being lectured. I got warned that if I do it again or I will get consequences for it, but I will not talk about it. Thank God spring 2022 ended on Monday, June 21, 2022 at midnight, and thank God it's in the past now. I don't know who likes or hates spring 2022, so I'm going to leave it be. Spring 2022 sucks, and so does fall 2021. Note, if you like fall 2021, I respect your opinion. Spring 2019 is 8 million times better than spring 2022. End of rant.